Bet on Bears fans, Breeze Nation, what is good? The camp car breakdowns are back as we head up to day 2 of training camp. Listen, very excited for a second day. We're going to start things off by getting a chance to hear from Press Taylor. Going to be interested to see how he feels he can affect things and improve Caleb Williams in this offense this upcoming season. I think really, getting an opportunity to pick his brain on how he feels he can help Caleb make that simple sexy, right? Like going out there and making the easy pass, making the simple throw, getting that football moving in the right direction on a consistent basis early in the game, but also being able to do the spectacular and go out there and make the amazing play as you get later into games, right? Like those are the things that I think it's going to be very interesting to see, how Press feels he can impact that, because he's one of the few, I don't want to say different or new pieces, but changing pieces within this offense. So, we'll see what ends up happening as camp goes on. But I think that was a really solid hire from Ben Johnson, getting somebody in there who already has known the role, who already understands the role. And I think that Press Taylor in the building is going to help this offense move along. And then, outside of that, watching practice, getting a chance to see what this offense is going to actually look like in the long run, getting a chance to see, kind of the early adaptation and see if the Bears are able to take steps this year like they were last year. Remember, when I talked about this team last year, there was, very few days where I said the offense took a step back or the team felt like it moved in the wrong direction, right? There were a couple of practices that it felt like it wasn't the best practice that they had, right? I mean, Family Fest was one of them. But to me, with the coach coming in, learning a new system, it felt like every day the Bears were getting a little bit better at something they were doing. Now, did that come quickly? No. The penalties lingered all the way into the season, right? Like there were a ton of things that they didn't get figured out by the time camp was over. But I want to see if we see that continue this year, where, the leaps and bounds might not be as big this upcoming season. You might be talking more about, just Caleb honing in on something, or DeAndre Swift and the running backs, blocking well, or whatever it may be. Like, I don't think that there is going to be as many leaps and bounds. And so I wonder if we're going to see that much of a jump as we continue here, as we're early on in the process and install. Outside of that, though, very excited to see some of the competitions. The left tackle battle is going to be one mostly to keep your eye on with that. Where a guy's slotted. I was talking about it yesterday. Braxton Jones leading the way with the going out there and being able to start with the ones. He's gotten the nod, and I think we kind of expected that. He started 40-plus games in the NFL. He's somebody who is, for the most part, outside of last year, has been a consistently healthy player. And then on top of that, you take into account that he understands the system from last year and actually got a chance to play in it after winning the job out of camp last year. Like, those are things that you look at and you say, okay, that's a feather in Braxton's cap. Those things are going to help him moving forward. Outside of that, though, the surprise we got was Karan Amagaji in that backup role. Is that going to be something that he maintains, or do we see Jedrick Wills, who, I think I've been pretty open about it, and everyone, for the most part, probably agrees here, right? Like, Jedrick Wills got to be the most talented guy in that room, but are you going to get the system? Is this a system that fits with you? You left Cleveland and took a year off of football to come play in one of the most difficult systems in football. So that means you're going to have to pick it up quick. You're going to have to learn it quick, and you're going to have to be able to execute at a high level here for you to start moving up that ladder. Jedrick Wills was playing with the threes yesterday with Theo Benedette probably getting that swing tackle job. Feels like the Bears are cross-training him for that, and so that swing tackle could be important there, as he was on the right side yesterday, not on the left side with the threes. So that's probably what we're keeping our closest eye on. Realistically, right now, you can't tell anything about anybody in the trenches because nobody has pads on. The first padded practice will more than likely be next week. I would assume Tuesday or Wednesday probably for that first padded practice. But, we'll see how guys look then. That's really when you can tell whether somebody's going to take over that job or not. Outside of that, though, man, you're always keeping an eye on Caleb. Rome Odunze, I think, is an interesting one to keep a watch on. Luther Burden looked very good yesterday in some of the limited moments that he had. There wasn't much from yesterday to take away from. It's not an indictment on Rome that, he didn't. I don't believe he had a catch yesterday. There weren't a ton of targets for Rome, and there were a couple of times where even Caleb talked about how he was just dirtying the ball, or he was getting rid of it, trying to make sure that ball, wasn't in harm's way, and that's how he avoids, getting those interceptions numbers up. I like that. I think you should practice how you play, and if you do those things in practice, you'll do them in the game, and they'll become second nature to you. That goes into taking that easy stuff and taking those easy plays. But I do want to see Rome Odunze get a little bit more involved today in practice and see him really start to, kind of take that mantle like it was last season. Now, very different scenario. DJ Moore is there, right? You've got Luther Burden dealing with his injury to start the season. This now is kind of the guy. But I think that, that time is going to come where we finally look out at Rome and say, all right, dog, like, show us what you got. I want to see that start manifesting. That relationship got going really early in camp. I'd love to see that happen again this upcoming season. But hey, man, we'll see what ends up happening. And if nothing else, day 2 of camp is here, and I'm very excited to see how this Bears team is going to respond as they continue to ramp things up here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. We'll be live tonight with the boys. We will do a Madden sim as well, probably start the show off just chopping it up about what we saw at camp and different things like that, and then we'll probably go into our Madden sim for the night. So stay tapped in with us on that, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.